Eric Eggers is the vice president of the Government Accountability Institute. He's been investigating these Biden allegations for years. Joe Biden, Eric, is marginalized politically at this point. We know that. So many outlets like the New York Times are just now covering these obvious corrupt dealings because now is the chance that they can do it, right? There's no political damage to their party. If Biden is now yesterday's news, now we can talk about it.
Yeah, now it's safe for not only the New York Times to talk about it, but also the Biden administration's Department of Justice, right? I mean, it was just last week that they admitted in court filings that Hunter Biden appeared to have violated fair law when he accepted money and attempted to influence U.S. policy because of the money he accepted. So it's comical and it's a shame. And I'm glad programs like yours have been telling the American people the truth for years, because only now for them to admit what we've all known all along is a national scandal of an entirely different order than Biden's own personal corruption.
And it really was just, I mean, to me, it was such an indicator of this matrix, I like to call it, that we live in, where they have such control of this narrative that, I mean, this man has been engaged in, this is a vast corrupt empire that has brought in a fortune. I mean, we have bank wires from the Chinese Communist Party going to every member of his family. And that money is being concealed by going through all of these shell accounts before it gets to these members of the family. And you had the media saying, well, it never went to Joe Biden's account, so everything's fine. I mean, it was just like, what the hell planet are we on that anybody's buying this? And they pulled it off. They really did pull it off. Now obviously they can admit it. But for like 2 years, it didn't matter that he was bought and paid for by the Chinese government or by potentially the Russians. Nobody cared.
Well, and I hate to say this, Rob, but think about this, right? Money from China, a disgraced or scandalous exit from the military, a history of substance abuse. Is Tim Walz the new Hunter Biden?
Yeah.
And by the way, you have an entirely new House investigation into his Chinese ties. I don't think it's an accident or a coincidence, to the point of how deep Joe Biden's Chinese interests are, or maybe more accurately, how deep Chinese interests are into the current Democratic Party, that they replaced Joe Biden with someone who has maybe even stronger ties to the Chinese Communist Party. I think that shows you exactly what their game plan is. It's a strategy called elite capture. We've been talking about it for years. And I think, and unlike with Hunter Biden, Tim Walz has actually spent $900 million of Minnesota taxpayer dollars to invest in Chinese funds because maybe he's more ideological aligned than Hunter Biden, who's just a capitalist.
Well, yeah, I mean, we showed it, at the top of the show. We talked about. He admires that government. He admires that system. I mean, why he lives in a free country, I don't understand. Why he didn't just move to China, I don't understand. Perhaps he stayed here because he wants to turn this into China. It can be my only question, and he's very close to being able to do that. Eric, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
My pleasure, Rob.